How a single text message ruined my holidays. Before we begin the story, make sure to subscribe to our channel and never miss more incredible stories every day. The first time my mom called me a thief was while handing out stocking stuffers. It was Christmas Eve, 7:18 p.m., and Diane had the whole living room staged like a magazine spread. Matching throws, cinnamon candles, a charcuterie board arranged by color. The house was so crowded I could feel strangers' perfume when they walked past. Casey was beside me on the couch, still in our airport clothes, trying to smile like we hadn't been awake since 4 a.m. and arguing in a rental car line 2 states ago. Diane paused mid-gift like she'd been waiting for the right audience. Then she held up her phone like it was evidence in court. "Explain this," she said, loud enough that my aunt stopped chewing and my cousin lowered her phone camera. On Diane's screen was a screenshot of a text thread labeled Jordan. One gray bubble, timestamp 10:42 a.m. Grab Dad's green folder from the safe. We'll sign after dinner. Don't tell Casey. My stomach dropped because that was the exact message I'd received earlier on my phone from Diane. Same words, same punctuation, same ugly little command at the end that made my skin crawl. Casey's head snapped toward me. "You told her I can't know?" He whispered, not angry yet. Worse, confused. "No," I said too fast. "I didn't send that. Mom texted me that." Diane's smile didn't move. "I would never write that. I'm not the one hiding things from your partner." Across the room, Noah, my older brother, everyone's favorite mess, leaned against the mantel with a plastic cup and watched me like this was cable. The green folder was my late dad's trust paperwork. The safe was real. And if Diane convinced the room I was plotting, I wasn't just losing Christmas. I was losing my place in the trust, the down payment Casey and I had pooled, and the only leverage I had to stop Noah from borrowing money he never repaid. Diane set the phone down on the coffee table, right next to the gifts, and said, "So which one of you is lying?" Then my own phone buzzed again from Mom's contact, and Casey saw it first. Our holidays were always the same, down to the hour, because Diane treated Christmas like a performance review. Dad had died 18 months earlier, and instead of grief we inherited procedures. Diane ran the group chat like a project manager. Matching pajamas at 6, church at 8, photo by the fireplace at 8:45, breakfast casserole at 9. Noah floated through all of it like glitter, pretty, impossible to clean up, and somehow always on somebody else's credit card. My role was responsible one. I booked flights. I fixed Wi-Fi. I picked up Grandma's prescriptions. When Dad was sick, I handled the paperwork and, yes, the trust stuff, because Dad trusted me to not turn it into a weapon. Casey hated these trips, but tried anyway. He'd grown up with quiet holidays, Chinese takeout, 2 people, no screaming. The first year he met my family, Noah got drunk and called him my brother's face. Diane laughed like it was a joke. I didn't. But I also didn't leave, because I kept thinking if I kept things smooth, my family would eventually behave. This year was supposed to be simpler. Fly from Chicago to Denver, grab a rental car, drive up to Diane's place in the foothills, stay 3 nights, then escape to a cabin Casey had booked as my real Christmas gift. Diane insisted we arrive by dinner on the 24th. Noah insisted he needed to talk business because Mom's freaking out about Dad's trust again. I told Casey, "We'll keep our heads down. We'll eat. We'll leave." At O'Hare, 10:11 a.m. We got delayed because some guy argued with the gate agent about a carry-on the size of a refrigerator. In the chaos, Noah texted me, "Don't be late. Mom's in a mood." Classic. We landed at 1:03 p.m. The rental car counter was a war zone. 1 employee, 40 angry people, and a sign that said, "Be kind," like that had ever worked. Casey went to find coffee. I stayed in line and finally got a silver SUV that smelled like vanilla air freshener and desperation. We pulled out of the airport lot at 2:27 p.m., snow starting to fall in tiny, harmless flakes. At exactly 2:29 p.m., Mom texted me something I still couldn't unsee. I didn't even open it at first because I was driving. The preview banner popped over the GPS, and Casey saw it before I did. He read it out loud, slow, like tasting something rotten. Grab Dad's green folder from the safe, sign after dinner, don't tell Casey. The SUV went quiet except for the tires on wet pavement. "What's safe?" Casey asked. "At Mom's," I said. "It's Paperwork. Dad's trust. She's probably panicking again. And she told you not to tell me. His voice stayed calm, which was how I knew it wasn't. Jordan, why would she say that? I don't know. I finally tapped the message. It showed Mom's contact photo, her Christmas headshot, perfect lipstick, like it was normal. I typed back, "What are you talking about?" and watched the little dots appear, then stop, then nothing. Casey stared out the window. "If you're going to sign something, I need to know. I'm your partner, not your roommate." "We're not signing anything," I said, and I meant it. By the time we hit the snowy stretch outside Idaho Springs, my phone kept buzzing, but it wasn't Mom. It was the family group chat, Diane's holiday magic thread, lighting up like a slot machine. Diane had posted a screenshot. Not the one she sent me. A different one. Same words, but in a thread where it looked like I had texted her first. Under it she wrote, "So this is what you came for." My aunt replied with a shocked emoji. My cousin wrote. Noah replied, "Wow." Casey saw the group chat name and swallowed. "You told the whole family I can't know?" he said, and now there was anger. "I didn't," I said. "I didn't send that." We pulled into Diane's driveway at 5:36 p.m. and the porch light flicked on like a stage cue. Noah opened the door before we even knocked, grinning too wide. "Glad you made it," he said. "Mom wants you in the kitchen alone." Behind him, I heard Diane's voice, bright and fake. "Jordan, honey, come explain yourself." Casey started to follow, and Noah's hand slid onto the doorframe, blocking him. "She said alone," Noah murmured, and his eyes didn't match his smile. Diane didn't scream in the kitchen. Screaming would have looked messy. She did something worse. She spoke in that controlled, disappointed tone she used on waiters. She slid her phone across the granite. "Tell me why you texted me this," she said, like I was 12 and had been caught shoplifting. "I didn't," I said. "You texted me that exact message at 2:29. Diane blinked once. "Jordan, I was in the dentist chair at 2:29. I wasn't texting anybody." Noah leaned against the fridge, scrolling his own phone like he was bored. "Maybe you're mixed up," he said. "Long travel day." "I'm not mixed up." My hands shook as I pulled up my messages app. Mom's name. The same sentence. The same "don't tell Casey." I turned my screen to her. Diane's eyes flicked over it, and then away too fast. "That doesn't prove anything," she said. "Anyone can save a contact as Mom." "Seriously?" I said. "You think I faked your photo too?" Noah gave a little shrug. "Text crazy." Casey waited in the doorway, pale, watching like he didn't know which version of me was real. "Did you agree to sign something?" he asked quietly. "No," I said. "I don't even know what she's talking about." Diane sighed, like I was exhausting her. "Your father's trust is due for review. You promised you'd bring the green folder. Then you tried to hide it from Casey. That's what your text says." "It says your text," I snapped. That's when I noticed the first wrong thing. In Diane's screenshot, the bubble was green. SMS. Diane and I always iMessaged. Blue, because she loved sending those overfiltered GIFs. Also, the screenshot header didn't say mobile like my phone did. It said iMessage in tiny gray text, like it came from a Mac. I zoomed in. The timestamp was 10:42 a.m. while I was in the air, in airplane mode, above Nebraska. I looked up. "Why does your screenshot show I texted you from a laptop?" Noah's thumb stopped scrolling for half a second, then started again. Diane folded her arms. "Stop deflecting and hand me the folder," she said. I opened my phone bill app, and what I saw made my mouth go dry. My carrier app showed my line's activity in neat rows: calls, texts, data. I scrolled to 10:42 a.m., and there was nothing. No SMS. No iMessage log, obviously. Just blank. I turned the screen to Diane. "There's no text from me at that time. Look." She didn't even lean in. "Those apps aren't accurate," she said, which was hilarious coming from a woman who printed boarding passes just in case. Noah stepped closer. "Mom, it's Christmas. Can we not do this?" he said, sounding noble while somehow still smirking. Diane's smile reappeared like a mask snapping on. "Of course," she said, and then, to me, "We'll discuss it later. You'll apologize to Casey. We'll eat dinner. We'll take the family photo. We'll not ruin the holiday over misunderstandings." I knew what that meant. Perform now. Bleed later. Casey pulled me into the hallway by the coat closet. The house smelled like pine and roasting meat and tension. "Tell me the truth," he said. "Are you hiding paperwork? Are you signing something that affects us?" No, I said. I swear. Dad's trust doesn't even mention you. It's not like that. Casey's jaw tightened. That's the problem, Jordan. Your family always acts like I'm optional. In the living room, Diane clapped her hands. Everyone, dinner in 15. Let's be grateful. My aunt whispered, Honey, just smooth it over. Don't feed the drama. My cousin asked if I was okay while filming a TikTok of the tree. Noah offered me a beer like he was being supportive. I felt trapped between optics and my actual life. Diane cornered me by the stairs. You will not sleep under my roof if you keep accusing me, she murmured, still smiling for the guests. And if you can't be trusted with the folder, I'll call the attorney Monday and remove you as trustee. Understand? My throat tightened. Dad had made me trustee because he didn't trust Noah with a toaster. If Diane replaced me, Noah would have access to money he'd already tried to borrow twice. Casey stood near the front door, keys in hand. I can book a hotel, he said, not looking at me. Diane lifted her glass, ready to toast, and whispered the dagger. Choose your family, Jordan, or choose your story. Then Casey's phone lit up with a text from an unknown number. Casey showed me his screen without a word. Unknown number. No contact photo. One message. Don't let him gaslight you. Jordan already agreed to sign Mom's POA tonight. Below it was the same screenshot Diane had posted, cropped tighter, like someone had been passing it around. Casey's face did something I'd never seen. Hurt turning into calculation. Who is this? He asked. I don't know, I said, and I meant it so hard it scared me. We were standing by the hall mirror, our reflections framed by Diane's glittery JOY sign. In the dining room, people were laughing too loudly, the way they did when tension sat at the table. Maybe it's Noah, Casey said, or your mom. Noah wouldn't text you, I said automatically, and then I heard how stupid that sounded. Noah would do anything if it got him an advantage. Aunt Rosa arrived late, shaking snow off her coat, and took one look at my face. She pulled me into the laundry room like we were doing drugs. Diane's doing that thing again, she said, smiling while she rearranges your life. She says I texted her from a laptop. I whispered, but I didn't. And now Casey's getting anonymous messages. Rosa's eyes narrowed. Does Diane still share her Apple ID with Noah? My stomach dropped. Years ago, when Noah couldn't keep a phone bill paid, Diane put his devices on her account temporarily. Temporarily had become a lifestyle. Rosa leaned closer. If Noah signed into her messages on a Mac or iPad, he can send iMessages that look like they're from her number. That's the thing, I asked, feeling both old and stupid. It's a thing, Rosa said. And he's always been good at using other people's names. Dinner started without us. Diane called from the hallway, sugary. Jordan, we're waiting. I wiped my hands on my jeans. I need to check something, I told Casey. Just give me 10 minutes. Casey didn't nod. He didn't argue. He just looked at me like he was deciding whether to keep investing. I slipped upstairs, past framed family photos, toward Diane's home office where the safe was hidden behind a fake painting. Diane's iPad sat on the desk, unlocked, and open to messages. Diane's iPad had that smug little continuity feel, like it knew secrets. I opened the thread with my name. There it was, the message, timestamp 10:42 a.m., but not in my bubble color. Under it, in tiny gray letters, it said, sent with iMessage. And at the top, instead of from iPhone, it showed from MacBook Pro. My hands went cold. I took photos of the screen with my own phone, making sure the iPad's clock was visible. Receipt number 1. Behind me, the floor creaked. I spun, but it was only the air vent kicking on. The house was too loud downstairs for anyone to hear my heart. I checked the iPad settings. Apple ID, Diane's email. Devices, Diane's iPhone, Diane's iPad. And my stomach dropped. Noah's MacBook Pro. Of course. I heard Diane calling for the family photo. I did the only thing I could. I put the iPad back exactly where it was, wiped my fingerprints with the hem of my shirt, and walked downstairs with my face arranged into something neutral. We smiled for the photo. Diane's arm was tight around my shoulder. Noah winked at the camera. Casey's smile didn't reach his eyes. It was a staged peace moment, the kind Diane framed and posted and used as proof nothing was wrong. It held for about 9 hours. At 3:12 a.m., I woke up to Casey sitting on the edge of the bed in the guest room, scrolling his phone in the dark. I booked us a hotel, he said. I can't sleep here. In the driveway, Snow squeaked under our shoes. Diane's house looked peaceful from the outside, like a lie. We drove in silence until we hit a roadside gas station lit like an aquarium. While Casey paid, I called our carrier's support line, whispering into the freezer aisle. The rep confirmed it. No SMS from my line at 10:42, and iMessages wouldn't show on the bill. But if someone used your Apple ID on another device, she said carefully, they could send as you. Receipt number 2 came as an email. Case number 77194. Apple ID messaging concern. Timestamp 3:47 a.m. In the hotel lobby, the clerk asked if we wanted holiday cookies. Casey didn't answer. He just said, 1 room, 1 bed. As the elevator doors closed, Casey finally spoke. Jordan, tell me Noah didn't do this. My phone buzzed with a bank alert I'd never seen before. The alert was from the bank that held Dad's trust account, an account I checked maybe once a month because it was supposed to sit there quietly. New external transfer recipient added. N.H. Checking. 0193. N.H. were Noah's initials. I opened the banking app, praying it was fraud protection. At the top was a yellow banner. Scheduled transfer pending approval, $25,000. Under it, the note line read, for cabin deposit/reimburse. Cabin deposit. Casey's gift cabin. The one Noah had asked about in front of everyone like it was casual. The one I'd mentioned because I wanted to believe my brother could act normal. I showed Casey. His face went flat. They're trying to take money from your dad's trust, he said, using our cabin as the excuse. I'm the trustee, I said. No one moves money without me. Unless, Casey said, they make it look like you did. My mind snapped back to the message. Grab Dad's green folder from the safe. We'll sign after dinner. Don't tell Casey. The folder wasn't about dinner. It was about signatures. It was about authority. The mini twist hit me hard. The text wasn't just to blow up my relationship. It was a tool to set a narrative before money moved. Casey's voice went quiet. So who's the mastermind? Your mom or Noah? I don't know, I admitted. But one of them is using the other. In the room, I screenshotted everything. Recipient added, timestamps, and the device listed as MacBook Pro Noah. Receipt number 3. Then I called Dad's attorney's emergency line and left a voicemail at 4:26 a.m. Someone's adding Noah's account. Please freeze the trust. The auto-reply text came back at 4:27 a.m. Office closed for holiday. Casey opened his suitcase like he was preparing to leave without me. Jordan, he said, I can't fight your family and be your therapist. I'm not asking you to, I said, and my voice cracked. Just don't let them rewrite who I am. He looked at me for a long beat. Then prove it, he said. I stared at the transfer screen, and the status changed from pending to processing. At 8:06 a.m., I texted Diane something that tasted like nails. I'm sorry dinner got weird. Can we talk? I didn't send it because I meant it. I sent it because I needed her to stop guarding her devices like they were organs. Diane replied at 8:09, instantly sweet. Of course, honey. Come by for brunch. Let's reset. Reset. Her favorite word for pretend it never happened. Casey didn't come. He stayed at the hotel and said, I can't watch you get skinned alive again. That hurt, but it also made the bait cleaner. If I showed up alone, Diane would assume she'd won. When I walked back into her house at 9:22 a.m., it looked exactly like the night before. Glitter, cinnamon, smiling relatives. Diane hugged me tight. There, she whispered for the audience. My boys. Noah appeared behind her like a shadow. All good, he asked. I overreacted. I said, loud enough for the living room. Travel brain. I'm sorry. Diane's eyes shone with victory. See, she said to Aunt Rosa. We're fine. Brunch was a performance. Mimosas, laughter, Diane telling everyone how grateful she was. Under the table, my leg bounced. When the kitchen cleared, I leaned in like I was confiding. Mom, I said softly, the bank flagged something. I think Dad's trust portal thinks a new device tried to add a recipient. If it was my mistake, I need to fix it before it freezes everything. Diane frowned, the first real emotion I'd seen from her in hours. Money fear. Freeze everything? She echoed. Maybe, I said, but I can show you. I just need to compare what my phone shows to what yours shows. The message thread. Your iPad too. Diane hesitated. then handed me her phone like I'd asked for a spoon. Fine, she said. Just make it go away. I opened messages and searched my name. The thread looked clean, too clean. No argument. No, don't tell Casey. Just years of harmless check-ins and Diane sticker packs. Then I noticed the top of the screen, recently deleted messages. My heart thudded. I tapped it. There was a conversation labeled Noah deleted at 2:35 a.m. Inside were 2 lines. Noah, it's sent. He's panicking. Diane, delete it from the iPad too. My hands went slick, and Noah's voice floated in from the hallway. Mom, where's your phone? I locked Diane's phone and slid it back onto the counter like it hadn't just detonated my nervous system. Noah appeared in the doorway, smile pasted on. There it is, he said, reaching. I handed it to Diane, not him. Everything's fine, I said. I just checked settings. Noah's gaze flicked to my hands. Cool, he said, too casual. Help me with something in the garage. In the garage, the air was colder and honest. Noah shut the door and dropped the smile. You went through her phone, he hissed. I'm figuring out why Casey got anonymous texts, I said, and why the Trust app shows your Mac as a device. Noah laughed once. It's Christmas, Jordan. Stop playing detective. Why did it look like I texted Mom from a laptop at 10:42? I asked. His eyes flashed. Because Mom's stressed, he snapped, then immediately softened. Look, she thinks you're going to take everything. If you calm down, we can fix it Monday. That transfer was processing, I said. He stepped closer. Then approve it and stop embarrassing her. Or don't, and watch her cut you out. That was the threat, finally honest. Back inside, Diane announced real Christmas dinner. All candles and forced laughter. She hugged me in front of people and told everyone I was her rock, like affection could erase receipts. At 6:04 p.m., we sat down. Diane raised her glass. To family, she said. To forgiveness. The room held its breath. Plates clinked. Someone's phone chimed with a holiday notification, and nobody laughed. I kept my smile, feeling Casey's absence like a missing tooth, and asked like it was small talk. Mom, were you on a computer yesterday morning? Around 10:40? Diane's fork paused. Noah laughed too loudly. He's obsessed, he said. Aunt Rosa set her napkin down. Diane, she said, voice flat. Your son didn't send that message. Diane's face tightened. Rosa, not now. Rosa looked straight at Noah. And your favorite son isn't as clever as he thinks. Noah's chair scraped back, and he said, Jordan, show them what you found. My throat went tight, but I nodded like I'd been waiting for that cue. Okay, I said, and I stood up with my wine glass, because standing at a dinner table made everything feel like a toast instead of a fight. I'll show you. Diane's eyes darted to Noah. Noah's jaw worked like he was chewing glass. I don't want to ruin dinner, I added, performing for the room the way Diane taught me. So let's do this clean. Quick. Good, Diane said too fast. Quick. I walked to the sideboard where Diane kept her iPad docked like a little altar. I wasn't going to accuse Noah with vibes. I was going to make them look at the same facts I'd looked at in the dark. First, I texted Casey. Please answer. I need you to witness something. Then I hit FaceTime before I could talk myself out of it. Casey picked up on the second ring, hotel lamp behind him. Jordan. His voice was cautious, like he expected me to ask him to come apologize to my mother again. I need you to just watch, I said. Don't say anything yet. Diane leaned forward. Is that necessary? She asked, smile tight. Yeah, I said. Because his name was in the message. I turned the phone so the table could see Casey's face. Then I opened my camera roll and showed the first receipt. A photo of Diane's iPad messages thread, with the iPad's clock visible and the line that mattered. From MacBook Pro. Noah's fork clattered. That could be edited, Diane said immediately. So I brought more, I said, and my voice surprised me by staying steady. Receipt number 2. The carrier email confirming no SMS from my line at 10:42. Receipt number 3. The Trust app screenshot with MacBook Pro Noah listed under recent logins and the added recipient. N.H. Checking. 0193. Silence rolled across the table like a slow wave. Noah tried to laugh. You're seriously doing this on Christmas? I didn't start it, I said, but I'm ending it. Aunt Rosa leaned back and said, show them the part you found on Diane's phone. Diane's head snapped. Excuse me. I looked at her, and for the first time all weekend I didn't flinch. There's a deleted conversation with Noah, I said. From last night. About it sent, and delete it from the iPad too. Diane's face went white, and Noah reached across the table for her phone. Noah's hand shot across the table, but Aunt Rosa was faster. She grabbed Diane's phone and held it to her chest like a linebacker. Sit down, Rosa said, not loud, just final. Noah froze, eyes flicking to Diane like she'd save him. Diane's lips parted, but no sound came out. Jordan, Rosa said, pull up the device list again. I opened the photo I'd taken of the iPad settings, Apple ID devices, with Noah's MacBook Pro sitting there like a signature. Then I opened the Trust Portal screenshot where the recent login device name matched it exactly. Diane stared like she was reading a language she hated. Noah, she said, voice thin, tell me this isn't what it looks like. Noah tried the classic pivot. Mom, he's twisting it. I was helping you. You never understand the apps. So explain the text, I said, and I scrolled to the iPad photo again, zooming until everyone could see the line. From MacBook Pro. Diane's hands shook as she reached for her own iPad. I didn't even know Messages was on. Yes, you did. Noah cut in. Too sharp. And then he caught himself. I turned the knife gently. If you didn't send it, but it came from your Apple ID on Noah's Mac, I said, then Noah sent it as you. Casey's face on FaceTime went pale. So the message on Jordan's phone. Was Noah pretending to be Mom? I said. And the screenshot in the group chat was Noah pretending to be me. Diane made a small, involuntary sound. Why? She whispered. Noah's smile flashed again, desperate now. Because you were going to change the trustee, he blurted. You were going to take me off everything. I needed you to stop listening to him. That was the flip. The original message wasn't Diane plotting with me. It was Noah writing the script so Diane would think I was sneaky, so Casey would think I was sneaky, so everyone would be distracted while he added his bank account to Dad's trust. Rosa opened Diane's recently deleted folder and restored the thread Noah had tried to erase. In it, plain as daylight, was Noah texting from Diane's number. It's sent. He's panicking. The table looked different after that, like a set after the lights went out. Diane stood up so abruptly her chair toppled, and she said, Give me your phone, Noah. Noah didn't hand over his phone. He laughed like Diane had told a joke, then saw her face and stopped. Mom, don't do this in front of everyone, he said, voice sliding into wounded child mode. Diane's hands were trembling so hard her bracelet clicked against the table. In front of everyone is exactly where you earned it, she said. She looked at me, and for a second I saw the grief she'd been hiding behind candles and control. Your father trusted me to protect his wishes, she said, and I let you live under my Apple ID like a parasite. Noah's face flushed. I'm your son. And Jordan is my son too, she snapped, which might have been the first time she'd said it like that since Dad died. Diane turned to Aunt Rosa. Call the bank, she said. Now, tell them to freeze the transfer. Then she pointed at Noah. And you out. Noah stood up so fast his glass tipped, red wine spilling over the tablecloth like a crime scene. You can't kick me out, he said. Where am I supposed to go? Diane didn't blink. Somewhere that isn't financed by your dead father. My cousin started crying. Someone muttered, This is insane. Christmas dinner disintegrated into whispers and scraped chairs. Noah tried one last play. He looked straight at Casey on FaceTime. I was protecting her, he said. Jordan twists everything. Ask him about the folder. Casey's eyes flicked to me, and even after the receipts, that doubt hurt. Because the truth was, I had been keeping things from Casey, not the trust, but the constant chaos, the way my family trained me to minimize it until it exploded. I should have told you the second that text came in, I said to Casey. I didn't, and I'm sorry. Casey didn't soften. You waited until it threatened money, he said quietly. That's what scares me. While Diane and Rosa called the bank, I got an email from the trust portal. Transfer completed, $25,000. My stomach dropped. Too late. Diane's face crumpled when she saw it. He got it, she whispered. Noah's mouth opened, and now it wasn't a family fight. It was fraud. Diane dialed 911. My son used my account to steal from a trust, she said into the phone, voice breaking. Noah bolted upstairs, and I heard the safe's keypad start beeping. The police arrived faster than I expected, maybe because the snow kept everyone else home. 2 officers stood in Diane's foyer while holiday music still played from the living room speaker. like the house refused to accept reality. Noah came down the stairs with the green folder in his hands and a look that said he'd decided to be the victim. "This is a misunderstanding," he started. Officer Ramirez asked simple questions Noah couldn't charm. Who owned the Apple ID? Who authorized the bank recipient? Why did the trust portal show his device name? Noah's story kept shifting. Helping mom, protecting mom. Jordan set him up. Jordan stole first. Diane didn't protect him. She handed over her iPad. She showed the restored, deleted messages. She said, "My husband's money was for our children, not for Noah's scams." Watching her choose truth over image was surreal. It was also late. By midnight, Noah was in the back of a patrol car, shoulders hunched, still trying to look like the wronged one. Diane's neighbors peeked through curtains. Someone in the cul-de-sac posted a prayers emoji in the neighborhood Facebook group. Holiday magic. At the hotel, Casey and I sat on the edge of the bed like we didn't know how to be normal humans anymore. "I believe you," he said finally. "But I don't trust the version of you that keeps trying to absorb your family's damage." He was right. Receipts didn't erase patterns. So I did something I'd never done. I wrote boundaries down, like a contract with myself. Noah, no contact. Any communication through attorneys only. Diane, separate Apple IDs immediately, two-factor authentication on everything, and I keep trusty access locked behind my own devices. Holidays. Casey and I leave if anyone insults him, even once. Therapy. I start in January, or Casey walks. I texted Diane the list at 1:14 a.m. She replied, "Okay." And for once it didn't feel like a negotiation. At 7:32 a.m., I got a call from the bank's fraud department. The transfer had been flagged and reversed. The $25,000 was back in the trust pending investigation. Relief hit me so hard I had to sit down. Then Noah texted me from jail, and my blood ran cold. Noah's text was short, like a needle. "If you testify, I'll tell Casey what you hid last year." I stared at it until the words stopped looking like English. He wasn't denying anything. He was reaching for leverage, because leverage was the only language he had left. Casey watched my face. "What did you hide?" he asked. I could have lied. I could have kept buying peace with half-truths the way my family taught me. Instead, I told him the only secret I'd kept that mattered. Last year, when Noah borrowed money, I covered it by lending him my own savings, then quietly rebuilding the account so Diane wouldn't spiral. I thought I was protecting everyone. I was really protecting Noah's pattern. Casey didn't yell. He just exhaled like he'd been holding his breath for years. "That," he said, "is what I can't do anymore." We didn't spend Christmas Day at Diane's. We drove out of town in the rental SUV, snow falling like static, and checked into the little cabin anyway. Paid for with Casey's card, not the trust, not Diane, not anyone else's mess. The heat clicked on. The windows fogged. For the first time all week, the silence felt safe. Diane called once that afternoon. Her voice sounded older. "I'm sorry," she said. "I wanted a perfect holiday so badly I let Noah use me." "I know," I said. "But perfection isn't the same as love." That night, Casey and I made grilled cheese in a tiny kitchen and watched bad movies. We started, awkwardly, to build a tradition that didn't require us to pretend. If you're watching this and you've ever had a single text blow up your life, here's the practical stuff I wish I'd known before my holiday turned into a fraud case. Screenshots aren't proof. Ask for the actual thread on the device, not a cropped image. Check the device line on Apple Messages, from iPhone/Mac, and the Apple ID device list. Turn on two-factor authentication and separate shared accounts, especially family, temporary ones. Save receipts the boring way. Timestamps, bank alerts, carrier confirmations, and photos of screens showing clocks. Truth costs more upfront than comfort, but it's cheaper than rebuilding later.